Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are NC.
Royals baseball on a hot Monday afternoon in Kansas City. A win today, and the Royals win their 7th consecutive series against the Chicago White Sox. And Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Run, 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 run. That little guy. Wear him down, right?
I loved it.
With Rex Hudler, I'm Ryan Lefevre. Joel Goldberg's coming up in just a moment. It might be too little too late, but here we are at the end of the season, at least the last couple weeks of the season, and the Royals once again are one of the best teams in the American League, hitting with runners in scoring position.
That's a big number for a player. In baseball, numbers are what they are, but if you hit 300, you're one of the best. But when you hit 300 with runners in scoring position, says that you are a great run producer. Our Kubota Power Stats will show you 5 players over 300. And what that does is it tells the player, I'm confident in these situations, and when he steps up to the plate, he delivers. Confidence is a big extra player for these guys. You got to have him, and when you see those numbers as a player, you're ready.
And 5 players, that ties for the American League lead. We had another milestone yesterday. Kendrys Morales got his 1,000th hit. We'll talk about his September when we come back. .90 today in Kansas City, and the next 2 days. And a windy day at Kauffman Stadium. That's good for the hitters. Ned Yost said a few months ago when Kendrys Morales was struggling, he said by the end of the year it will be a Kendrys Morales type season.
Well, Ned Yost knows his players for sure, and especially Morales. The last couple of seasons he's been really good. But you know what he does is, unlike any other DH, he switch hits both sides of the plate. His hips are strong, his hands are strong, but he has the knowledge. Also, you have to be able to understand his eyes. His eyes recognize the pitch. His hands go, the hips go, all that strength I'm talking about combines to one, a very powerful designated hitter. Our Honda most trusted player is finishing strong. And in his free agent year, he's setting himself up personally for a nice offseason. But look, watch the hips go before the hands come. But I talked about it. You can't do anything unless your eyes are able to pick out that ball. Morales is so good staying inside it. He recognizes pitches that he can hit out. This guy is the consummate pro as a designated hitter, and he's not too shabby a fielder either.
Well, we thought we were going to have a great pitching matchup yesterday. It ended up being a 10-3 game. Joel, when we come back, we'll talk about today's pitching matchup.
Baseball, a rarity at Kauffman Stadium. Warm afternoon and just over 7 minutes to first pitch. Welcome back. Joel Goldberg out here in left field. And the White Sox only have 5 wins against the Royals this year, and only 2 starting pitchers have been a part of those wins in getting a W. Chris Sale has 2. Carlos Rodon has 2, and Rodon will be facing the Royals for the 5th time this year. And as we see in our Academy Sports and Outdoor leaderboard, he has been very good against the Royals, especially in limiting the home run ball. The only pitcher this season with 3 starts or more against the Royals who has not allowed a home run. He's also been excellent with runners in scoring position, so he has really been able to minimize damage. Yordano Ventura has been excellent with runners in scoring position, but struggled the last 2 times out. And overall, on his last 4 games, including one against the White Sox, he's had some struggles after a great second half. And with Yordano, it always comes down to mechanics.
His front side has to stay in. He has to stay close. His direction has to be right towards home plate. He can't be spinning off towards the first base side. And he has to get a good finish on his pitches without recoiling. When he does that and he stays under control, you know, there's really not anybody that's more talented or better than he is.
Just like Danny Duffy, he's got the stuff to be as good as anyone in this league when he puts it all together. The playoff race, it's heating up. Red Sox taking control. More on that next. Remember, as Yordano Ventura is warmed up with Drew Butera and ready to go. The Royals are, well, it's a long shot for the wild card. They're actually one game behind the Yankees now as far as climbing over teams, and that is because the Boston Red Sox behind Hanley Ramirez just swept the Yankees in 4 games. And Ramirez, as we see in our T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball, has been absolutely incredible. 11 home runs in his last 21 games. You see that big sweep over Billy Butler's New York Yankees. And now we'll keep an eye on this as the Red Sox open up a 4-game set against Baltimore. It's still Cleveland with the better record overall in the American League, as well as Texas, who has the best. Royals, of course, going to Cleveland tomorrow. But first off, it is the season finale with the Royals and the White Sox. Afternoon baseball. Ryan Lefebvre and Rex Hudler have the call next.
Baseball is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. Are you excited for fall? Well, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. 88 right now. High temperature expected to be over 90 with a heat index in the mid 90s, and that's going to continue through Wednesday. We'll see cooler temperatures on the upcoming road trip to Cleveland and Detroit, but a warm one today. Yordano Ventura, he is making his 30th start of the year. Second time in his career that he has reached 30 starts in a season. He also did it back in 2014. And he'll be facing the White Sox for the 5th time this year.
Yep, and Yordano Ventura has the 3 great pitches. We all know that. And if you listen to our pregame show and the open of the show, we talked to Dave Island. Dave Island said he's got to control that shoulder and keep it going north and south right down through the strike zone. And if he does that, he's a brilliant pitcher. Sometimes he's had problems with his mechanics and unable to repeat them. Now, 173 opponents average on his curveball. That's been his strikeout pitch. He's only hung a couple of those and given up 2 homers. So it's not going to be easy. The White Sox attack, and they know exactly what Ventura's got. They've faced him plenty of time.
And a look at the lineup that he will face today. Justin Morneau is back in there. He's missed 6 games with a neck issue, and Tyler Saladino who always seems to wear out the Royals. He was in the starting lineup for game 1 and had 3 hits, but has not been in the lineup since. And our umpiring crew, Toby Basner will call the balls and strikes. Trip Gibson at first. That's our crew chief right there, Jerry Lane. And Hunter Wendelstedt will be at third.
Yeah, Basner and Gibson, a couple of young umpires mixed in with 2 of the best veterans there are out there in baseball. I think it's a good combination how they put these guys together to help them break them in, just like older players do to younger players on the field. Royals for defense, we're going to highlight Billy Burns. He's third start in center field for the Royals. They're getting a good look at him here this final couple of weeks of the season here. He's an attack player, put the ball in play, but he can go get him out in center.
And Giordano's first pitch, fastball strike, 94 miles an hour to Adam Eaton. Nice, easy and controlled 94 to begin the game. And you can see the sweat building up on Ventura. Just 1 pitch into the game. Expected to be in the, well, at least in the low 80s by now, but it's going to be a hot one.
Now, if you're a hitter, if you're facing Ventura, you're having a hard time picking up his rotation. Okay, free and easy, very smooth delivery. The guy has a natural gift. His arm is beautiful. He's an athlete, fields his position well. But they tell me that they can't pick up the rotation. It comes so fast. 93 to 99 miles an hour. And the curveball, it's on you and you can't hit it. There it is. Beautiful execution. He likes to get ahead with a fastball. And, you know, you get that hitter looking for that fastball. Then you pull the string on him, starts belt high, ends up on the ground. Good to keep Eaton off the base.
Now the White Sox rookie shortstop Tim Anderson. 95 over the outside, strike 1. A little bit low and inside at 97. 1 ball, 1 strike. One and 2. You know, hearing Dave Island as Joel set it up, Giordano Ventura being free and easy, keeping that front side closed, not allowing it to fly open, staying lined up with home plate. Now all of that is from a pitcher's perspective. Here's the 1-2 to Anderson, and that's a called third strike, and there are 2 down. You know, you could also be describing a hitter when you say all of that. Nice and easy, keep your front side in, stay lined up with the pitcher's mound. I mean, it's so. My question for you, Hud, is when pitchers are flying open and hitters are flying open, how much is that a result of just trying to muscle up?
A lot. And because that's a tendency here in this macho man game at the highest level in the world. These guys all have big egos and they all want to do so much. The challenge is to harness that and to be smooth and to be easy and try to execute those pitches without thinking. Hitter doesn't want to think. Pitcher does not want to think. They do that before games, in practices, but out here it's all about reacting and just try to keep it simple as you can. Nice inning.
A 9-pitch inning with 2 strikeouts and a fly ball to left field. top of the first inning. Billy Burns will lead off against a lefty Carlos Rodon. Whit Merrifield will bat second. Christian Colon will hit eighth. He'll be at third base. Drew Buterres behind the plate. So off days for Salvador Perez, Chesler Cuthbert, and Gerard Dyson against a tough lefty Carlos Rodon in his first full major league season. His overall ERA is just a shade over 4. But the Royals have seen quite a bit of him this year. He has made 4 starts against the Royals, and that ERA is 2.28.
Yeah, so that tells a little different story than the overall. But looking for that early pitch, that early fastball. They've been having a lot of success against him in the first innings. The fastball is a good one. His loaded mid-90s slider is his best pitch. Change up. You see what they're doing on that fastball, though. They're hitting that early. See, Burns swinging early on first pitches. The league's hitting 475 off of Rodon, and in the first innings, overall 343. So the numbers are high early. Get him. We all know how important first innings are.
Burns is 2 out of 4 in this series with 2 runs scored. Abreu goes into foul ground and makes a play for the first out.
Well, I talked about Rodon's slider and how effective that pitch is, especially to the right-handed dominated batters that face him. And that slider, our Toyota league leaders, 145 is all they're hitting off of it. And that pitch is designed to go down into the back leg of the righty. That's his wipeout pitch. Now he can hang them like that one there. That stayed up a little bit. You can hit that, but you gotta look up in the zone. That's a beauty there. Nice and easy.
0-2 on Merrifield. Witt had 3 hits yesterday. 2 singles, a double, 2 RBIs, and a run scored. Frazier has it at third, and there are 2 down.
White Sox defense, Omar Narvaez. Opponents are 15 for 15 in steals, so if the Royals get on, they'll be going on first movement of Rodon when he lifts up that leg and he's looking at you. So you want to test him if you can. The Royals, they love their running game.
Ball 1 to Eric Hosmer. 95 RBIs. That's a career high for him. He drove in 3 yesterday. Ned Yost told us, and when I say us, media, broadcasters, writers covering the club, he said, look, I don't want Eric to get 100 RBIs. I want him to go over 100 RBIs.
That's right.
102, 103. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's that slider that probably looked like a fastball to Eric Hosmer until about the last 5 feet.
Yeah, and that's the difficult part. You don't have long to pick up the pitch. Any of them are coming in there so quickly. You only have like a couple of tenths of a second to be able to recognize the pitch, and then you react.
Line to left field. Melky Cabrera makes the play and falls down.
Well, that's a nice little routine play he laid right into.
There are many ways to get your uniform dirty. That's one of them. Things considered, an unscheduled makeup game from a rainout in May, so many fans are surprised today the Royals are playing. They check the schedule, and this is an open date. But here we are, lower bowl mostly filled up. Some fans to the upper deck.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, there could be 18 to 20,000 today.
And you factor in schools in session. First day of the work week, middle of the afternoon. Good turnout.
And you can also factor in the style of play that their home team plays. The Royals are an exciting team. They play great defense with Ventura on the mound, and for the most part, all of them, they're competitive, highly competitive.
2-1 from Ventura to Jose Abreu. There's that recoil that Dave Island refers to. Instead of completely following through, it's almost like he stands back up again, and then that's when that leg comes flying across his body. 3-1 pitch chopped out to Escobar, and there's one out.
You know, Escobar is such a great, does a great job of reading the ball off the bat. He knows who's running. You have to, but watch him step back. Most guys are coming forward. See, he recognizes it. He's going to step back and play the top of the hop, the big hop. He knows every little nook and cranny of that infield. How to play it. That's a routine play, but didn't have to charge it because he would have got an in-between hop. Took back. Routine play. This makes it look easy. It's good to talk about that, though, because they expect shortstops at this level to make the play 10 out of 10 times, the routine play.
Ball 1 to Justin Morneau, who plays in this series for the first time.
Tester there. You're getting that.
Up against the wall. Morneau does not run well. Gordon makes it somewhat close, but Morneau is in with a 1-out double. He had missed the White Sox previous 6 games with a stiff neck. You know, Hud, I'm glad you brought up the Escobar play, because
ball moving away. That's nice.
It's hard, unless someone has seen a lot of baseball, and in particular baseball on the infield, it's hard to explain why feet are just as important as hands are for an infielder. We say so often, oh, he's got great hands, which the best ones do, but I'm sure you've heard Denny and I talk about Ray Sanchez, who was here for a few years, who didn't have the range or the arm that Escobar did, but he never, ever, and I'm exaggerating just a little bit, never, ever seemed to have a bad hop. That was a very good way to illustrate it, Hud, to show how his feet put him in a position to get an easy hop.
That's so important. Jumping rope for young players is good. That helps you with your timing with your feet and all that. Soccer, any little sports that you play that have to involve with footwork is going to help your baseball game. That's going to be a base hit.
Morneau is around third, and he will score. Todd Frazier, who's had a very interesting year when it comes to numbers. He's hit a lot of home runs, but he has also struggled terribly with runners in scoring position this year. He drives in the game's first run.
And he did that with not trying to do too much. He's having a career year with homers. 37, 93 RBIs. So he wants to add to those, and he's got a little push to see if he can get to 40. So that's why he's going to take big swings in certain situations.
And up comes Avisail Garcia. And Frazier took off way too early. And
run at it.
Finally gets it to Hosmer.
There you go.
So Ventura with the quintuple fake, and then a throw to Hosmer for the out.
Yep. So you see how Ventura, he just waited there. You want to go ahead and pursue him and make him commit. Okay, so he committed there. Now watch him. He's going to come there. A couple of fakes, and he's still standing there. Go ahead and go to him. See, when he went to him, he made Frazier commit one way or another. So that's the importance of that, is make the runner commit and then get him going one way and One throw, pickles are the best.
Quadruple fake, my bad.
Yeah, I know.
Ball 1 to Avisail Garcia.
We saw Frazier steal a base like that in yesterday's game, or maybe it was the night before, but he took off way early and stole the base easily.
Line to the gap. So that was a big play to get Frazier off the bases. Frazier has decent speed. With 2 outs, he probably scores on this hit. And Garcia, a big man who runs well, shows off his speed. And he has a 2-out triple.
Yep, that's Triple's alley, right center field here at the K. Good placement. Fastball made it look like it was a breaking ball, the way he swung at it, but he stayed with it, placed it perfectly. 18th double, or excuse me, second triple. Not going to get a lot of triples at their home ballpark at the U.S. Cellular. Small.
Now the catcher Omar Narvaez inside for ball 1. First start in the series for Narvaez. Cracked his bat, and Merrifield throws him out. So the caught stealing was a big play. The White Sox get 1 run on 3 hits. Runner left at third base. The bottom of the second inning. And today's game is being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces serving around the world and on ships at sea. We say welcome, and as always, we hope our broadcast today makes you feel a little closer to home.
Yes, and thank you for your support and your service.
Kendrys Morales, who had a big day yesterday, leads off against Carlos Rodon. It was not just a milestone hit for Morales yesterday, base hit number 1,000, but it was a milestone hit for Cuba, as Morales became the first, or the 17th Cuban-born player to reach 1,000 career hits yesterday. In the air to right field, into the sun, and Garcia is there, and not to drag politics into this discussion, but it would appear that we're getting closer and closer to the great Cuban players not having to risk their lives to play in the major leagues.
Yes, thankfully. Still waiting for the movie business, the Hollywood world, to make that motion picture of the defector. And I think that would be a tremendous drama-filled production if they could just put it together. It's waiting to be seen.
Ball 1 to Paulo Orlando, who has good numbers against Carlos Rodon. Warm day, humid day, wind blowing out. Melky Cabrera in left, and a home run right over the 387 mark. The White Sox didn't score many runs yesterday, but when they did, the Royals answered immediately, and they've done it again today.
How about that? That's Paulo's 5th. And his 4th from left-handed arms. Kept his hands inside the baseball like he does so well, and he was able to get the barrel out in front of the plate and catch it just right. They're looking at that ball and they're checking it out and saying, "Daddy, it says official Major League Baseball, and it has a signature Robert D. Manfred Jr. on it." Well, what is that, Dad? Well, that's the commissioner of baseball. They're checking it out. That wind might have helped it just a tad to get over that over the fence there in the first row.
2 balls, 1 strike. And to that point, we had the commissioner on a couple of years ago. And I loved his honesty. I think you asked him, what's the best part about being commissioner? And without hesitation, he said, having his name on the baseball.
Yeah.
Instead of some noble answer of, well, the responsibility of leading this great game and the history and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Right away, having my name on every baseball.
Yep. That was a good interview. We like to have him. Good pitch there.
That's Rodon's first strikeout today, 2 down in the 2nd inning.
Check out the home run now from Paulo. That ball was in. Okay, it was on the inner half of the plate, but he's able to be so quick to pull his hands in. Pull his hands in. Good easy swing. One hand follow through. Takes off that top hand. You see that. Look at how right in here his hands are very close to his body, and that's how he's able to generate that bat speed, but also place the barrel. Obviously, the barrel of the bat, the meat of the bat, is where you want to hit that ball. It doesn't always happen. But that's the idea. When that does happen and you catch it just right, there's a happy fan out there with a souvenir. That's right. It was worth missing some school today.
That's hit well. That's into deep left field, and that's gone. And that, by the way, is a career high 6 home runs for Alcides Escobar.
And his 3rd off a lefty. So that's what I was talking about a little bit when last inning, when Rodon first towed the slab. On first pitches, the league's hit 475 off him with 4 homers. On the first and second pitches, over 400 still. So Rodon's going to have to start mixing those pitches up a little bit more early in the count to keep those hitters off of that barrel.
And remember, Joel reminded us before the game started that Rodon had not allowed a home run to the Royals all year. He was the only pitcher with 3 or more starts against the Royals this year without allowing 1 home run.
Okay, now both of those home runs were on the plate. This one was off the plate a little bit, but elevated, and Escobar with a good easy swing was able to catch it just right.
And there's a smash fair past the diving Frazier and down into the corner. Royals have hit 2 home runs, and now they have a double in a 2-run 2nd inning. Cologne's at second with 2 down.
Yeah, he pulled that double for his 6th on the season. But they're once again, they're taking advantage of early pitches. And they're not missing them. That's the importance. Just like that, 2 home runs in 1 inning, almost in the same place as follows.
You know, we're seeing a lot of people on their phones, and you know, the Royals have hit 2 home runs, and I wonder how many of that are people who have been caught by spouses or bosses saying, hey, wait a minute, what are you doing at Kauffman Stadium?
Supposed to be at work.
That ball was hit hard by Butera. Out to the second baseman Sanchez with 1 out. Paulo Orlando homers. With 2 down, Alcides Escobar homers, and the Royals lead 2-1.
Pilot to Bombardier. Open up them doors.
Good numbers against Carlos Rodon. He homered with 1 out. That tied the game. 2 batters later, Alcides Escobar hits his 6th home run of the season, and the Royals are out in front right after the White Sox got a run in the top of the 2nd inning. Giordano Ventura will pitch to Carlos Sanchez, White Sox number 9 hitter, who shows bunt. That's all he's doing, and takes a fastball for a strike.
Well, you know, you're talking about Escobar. I'm really proud of him. You know, his career high 6 home runs now. Since August 1st, he's been a different hitter. Good try, but Ventura's too quick. Way to stay on that bag.
In time. Ventura is the anti-Peter Moylan. Moylan pitches sidearm and throws to the bases over the top. Ventura throws over the top, but he becomes a flashy infielder when he picks up a ground ball.
And he loves it. Now, he didn't use his glove. That was a barehanded pickup. When the ball's moving, you never know. It could hit your finger or something and kick off, and you lose the runner. But nice job. But I was talking about Escobar. There's Moylan. Oi, oi.
He's teaching Strom, hey, you got to start getting pumped up early in the game.
And that's, you know, his walk-up song is that AC/DC, oi, oi, but he thinks that's moi for Moylan. And they were on it. But since August 1st, Escobar's been a different hitter. So he's seeing the ball up. So that's what we're seeing from him in his production. 303 average, 4 home runs, 23 ribbies since August 1st. He's a different hitter, and this is good. He's starting to figure out some pitches that he can handle. But the biggest thing has been his plate discipline. He's laying off those pitches that are sliders in the dirt, like we saw him swing it for the whole first half of the season.
Which usually doesn't happen in the middle of the season.
Right. So I think Escobar and Dale Swain, you know, Dale's been working a lot with him mentally, talking about what pitches you're supposed to go up there and look for, and which ones that you can turned loose on early in the count. He's continuing to improve.
Back to Ventura. And even on a comebacker right to him, he adds a little flair to it.
He's a performer. There's no doubt about it. And you've talked about him being a tremendous athlete. Look at that. That's a little style master there. Yeah, a little left flip. And Eden's not going to have a problem with that. I'm glad to see Eden back in there. You know, he came out of yesterday's game, had some kind of problem with his legs. Obviously, it wasn't a muscle. And the way he limped 2 days before, having had leg injuries myself, it looked more like a foot injury, like maybe a twisted ankle or something, not a muscle. Muscles are hard to trick and play on.
2-0 to Tim Anderson. Ventura struck him out looking in the first inning. Two and one. Before the Royals come up, or while the Royals are hitting in the bottom of the third, we're going to chat with Danny Duffy inside the Royals dugout. We look forward to visiting with yesterday's winning pitcher. Danny gave up 3 runs in 7+ innings to improve to 12-2. It's a 2-out walk to Anderson. First walk allowed by Ventura. And it brings up Melky Cabrera with a man on and 2 down. Well, that's right to the point.
You stink.
First pitch swinging. Alex trying to find an angle to turn away from the sun, and I think he lost it for a moment. Then he found it. Now he's trying to regain his eyesight.
Yeah, excellent job. Nobody does it better. He is the ultimate pro when it comes to playing left field, #1, but also this very difficult negotiation here. Okay, put your hands up when you don't see it, but then you stay with it. At the last minute, it comes out.
As they come up in the bottom of the third inning, and as we promised, Danny Duffy was kind enough to join us here in the bottom of the third inning Duff, good to see you.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I have a question. I'm going to jump right to it, and I've been wanting to ask you this. And, you know, when you went to the bullpen and pitched very well and came back into the starting rotation, and now with a record of 12-2, you know, all of us, and as I say us, members of the media broadcast team, we've talked about how much that trip to the bullpen has impacted you, but I don't know if anyone has asked you that question. I mean, are we assuming that that trip to the bullpen has to do with where you are right now, or how much of that was already growing and evolving, and you might have been that way anyway if you didn't go to the bullpen?
You know, I think being out in the bullpen really did help a lot. I developed kind of a new mindset, and it really kind of makes you trust your fastball. You really have no other option when you're coming in and you're facing, you know, one guy or an inning in the third. You got to get the job done right away, and everything's got to be, you know, fed off that fastball command.
Duff, talk about your slide step and being able to execute all three of your pitches from that slide step, what that does to the hitter, and it messes up his timing. When did you really get confident in that slide step?
I've always been pretty confident in it. Obviously, as anything, it needs, you know, polishing, but you know, a couple years back I wasn't as good as I am with it now, but throwing out of the stretch, you know, exclusively has helped a lot. And you know, I'd be shocked if more people didn't throw out of the stretch, or at least quick pitch, you know, like the likes of Cueto and Hochi used to do, and Wade still does. It's very useful.
Dave Island told us, and you know, I guess it's a caution for any pitcher that when you do something like that, as Hud said, you know, you have to throw all three of your pitches. And Dave's thought was, you know, if you speed up, you're going to speed the hitter up, and you can't be predictable. Did it come naturally for you to be able to throw all three of your pitches with that slide step, or did you have to work on one pitch more than the other?
No, it didn't come naturally at first. I mean, Dave and I worked a lot in the bullpen, and you know, I mean, slide stepping alone on everything. And I mean, if you slide step on one pitch exclusively, then obviously they're going to know it's coming. So you know, that kind of eliminates the weapon that the slide step can be. So a lot of hard work, a lot of repetition, and sure enough, you know, here we are, and I feel pretty confident that I could locate anything, you know, anytime I want.
When do you decide whether you're going to slide step or you're going to lift the leg up? I mean, is it a spur of the moment thing that you think I'm going to do that right now, or is it shortly after the previous pitch?
You know, just kind of, I think it's something where you just read the previous swing, and I mean, sometimes, you know, I'll come set and, you know, be really quick and not even really come set and then go, and I mean, I do that on all three pitches too, and you know, it's not like super premeditated, but it's, you know, it's definitely part of the game plan for certain hitters as well. I mean, if you got dudes that, you know, have a high leg kick and, you know, are trying to do one thing with the baseball, it's a good weapon to have.
Danny, how about when it comes to toeing the slab, the rubber? Do you push off of that rubber, or do you just use the rubber as a balance point? I've heard it, you know, both ways. We just showed a nice little shot of you going from your slide step with just your feet, and it looked like you weren't really pushing off of it.
Yeah, I mean, I try to stay back as long as I can. I mean, Dave has worked with me on that, you know, since I was, you know, 22. And, yeah, I mean, he's a great baseball man. He knows what he's doing. And the dude definitely has helped me to learn to stay back. I mean, when I missed arm side up on seemingly every pitch back in the day, just like, stay back a tick longer, man. Stay back a tick longer. It's going to help. It's going to help you get that downward angle on every pitch. And, you know, downward angle, I mean, is so important. It keeps the ball out of the swing path for as long as possible. So that has really helped a lot. Staying back just a tick longer, even you know, on the leg kick, it's very important.
Burns runs, and no chance for a throw.
What, Billy?
How about this track team you have?
Bunch of great baseball, man, bro. Bunch of real athletes, dude. It's fun to watch. We are spoiled to watch Terrence Gore, Gerard Dyson, Lorenzo Cain, Paulo. I mean, I could go on forever. These dudes are unbelievably fast.
Hey, Duff, how much do you pay attention to statistics and numbers? And if you do, are you impressed to see yourself in most of the top 10 categories?
I don't pay attention to statistics. I think if you get all caught up in that, it kind of sets yourself up for failure. And I just try to go out there and get outs, man. I mean, I've said it 100 times. It sounds really boring, but I just try to get outs and be efficient and get my team back in the dugout and hand the ball off to our bullpen as late as possible in the game.
Okay, so it's up to us as the media to bring those stats out to the people, but one that catches my eyes, how beautiful it is today. I loved day game baseball. I was a better player. My numbers were better. And I'm looking at your daytime ERA. It's the best in the American League at 1.85. The next closest guy's a whole ERA away. So do you like day game baseball?
I mean, I'll pitch whenever the ball is handed to me, man, but I do enjoy getting out here under the sun. It's a pretty cool environment, especially here at the K. I mean, the ball seems to carry a little bit more in day games as it does anywhere, but I like it, man. It's fun.
Here's Kendrys Morales with a runner at third, 2 down. And it's fouled away. I hesitate to ask this question with 2 outs. The inning could end at any moment. But, when we hear about Yordano Ventura, it's about him making adjustments in the middle of the game. And I wonder how much of your success this year is your ability to recognize what adjustment you need to make and make it quickly.
I think it's more so pitch to pitch than a certain hitter, coming back up through the lineup. I mean, we obviously adjust our sequences, but you just read and react. I mean, you keep it simple. This game is a lot harder when you make it more difficult. And I trust my stuff. I trust all 3 of my pitches. I trust my defense. I trust our offense, and I just don't just try to simplify everything. I just don't get bent out of shape about nothing, and the rest kind of takes care of itself if you prepare. It's pretty bland mindset, but I really enjoyed being this relaxed, competing.
Are you better at that this year than in years past?
I'd say so. I used to be a little bit energetic out there.
That's okay.
No, but you got to channel that, and that's one thing that dude over there in their dugout, James Shields, was really, really important to me in my career. Just talking about be you, but make sure that you channel that and don't let your personality or your competitiveness let the game spiral out of control when something goes bad. And there's really nothing on that field that could go wrong enough to the point that you are gonna let the game unravel. He just missed it.
Yeah, he did.
Actually, he didn't. He got it, but it is a big yard.
Duff, thanks a lot for your time, man.
Thanks, guys.
So
Always
much
good
fun
talking to
watching you pitch this year.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it, guys.
See you, Duff.
See you guys.
Danny Duffy, 12-2 with his win yesterday. Royals lead 2-1 at the end of 3. Connie's sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat today. We'll tell you about her story as Yordano Ventura throws a strike to Jose Abreu. Connie was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer in December of 2011 and immediately began surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation treatments. And during her treatment, Connie and her husband Mike became avid supporters of Susan G. Komen Greater Kansas City and their annual Race for the Cure, quickly becoming top fundraisers for the annual 5K walk/run. And now Connie has been cancer-free for 5 years and has joined the professional staff at Susan G. Komen, and as a survivor and the lead staff on the local breast cancer survivor advisory board. She helps raise awareness throughout the community, and she is enjoying the game and waving nice for the camera.
She's beautiful. Great fight, Connie. Way to go. And not just did you battle a nasty disease, but you are now giving back. That's the greatest. I don't know if that's coming back.
Well, Danny Duffy said it's a big yard, but it's not that big. Oh my, that is over 3 walls to straightaway center field. And the Royals this year, as they have dominated the White Sox, have done an outstanding job of limiting the damage of Jose Abreu. That is his first RBI of this series. So he hits it a mile, but nobody on base, and the game is tied at 2.
Yeah. Now he was looking for the fastball. Yordano put it in the lower part of the zone, but he was on it. I mean, straightaway center field, you can't square a ball up any better. And like I said, that's not coming back. We'll see a lot of home runs hit up there.
That is just the 6th RBI for Jose Abreu against the Royals all year. And this is game number 19 between the two teams.
Tremendous job of the Royals pitchers in scouting.
Oh, almost. What an effort.
Perfect timing. I mean, you know what? To bring a ball back like that, you have to have the perfect timing, and he did. The ball it just eluded his glove, but he was on it. You see that right at the top of his hop before he started coming down is when the ball went over his glove. There it is. Great shot. Tremendous effort, as always, from the Platinum Glove winner.
Now, if we were in Chicago, Alex would just simply dive into the crowd
and wouldn't care who was in front of him. He'd go right through him to make the play. And that is the definition of a gamer. Make the play, no matter what. Tester here. Son.
Morneau is out number 1. He's 1 for 2. And Ventura will get Todd Frazier, who drove in the White Sox first run in the 2nd inning with a single. Breaking ball for strike 1. And now 0-2 on Frazier. And I mentioned his numbers have been a mixed bag. He has 37 home runs, which is tied for 6th in the American League. But before his base hit in the 2nd inning, he was hitting 159 this year with runners in scoring position, which is the lowest in the American League for a hitter with at least 100 plate appearances. So you can't discount the 37 home runs, and now he's driven in 94. On the ground to Escobar. But for comparison's sake, Hud, with 37 home runs, he has 14 more home runs than Eric Hosmer does, and yet fewer runs driven in.
Yeah, and like Duffy was saying, players don't pay a whole lot of attention to numbers, although some of them do, some don't, but he's probably aware, Frazier is, of his batting average with runners in scoring position. And like Alex Gordon said several weeks ago, look, I've got up to such a slow start. I was injured. He's only hitting 165 with runners in scoring position. I'm not going to change that now. So Frazier's probably saying, I'm not going to change it. Oh, Oz with a beauty. So it's too late to be able to correct that now, but next year he might shorten up his swing some.
Ventura brushes off the home run, gets the next 3 hitters, and we're tied at 2. Orlando comes to the plate, and Hud is going to break down the success of Paulo Orlando and his swing.
The reason he's so good is he's hitting for a high average is he's using the whole field. He has the ability to keep his hands inside. You're the pitcher, you're coming at me, and he starts his swings. His hands are pulling inside his body here so he can get the barrel there. And see, I have a nice little flat barrel. My hands are inside. It's going to direct the ball back up the middle. Or same swing, late. He's going to go same swing, but he's going to go to right field. But the fact that he's able to keep his hands close, he does create space because he's got some power. You got to be able to create some space. But when that ball comes out of that pitcher's hand, he's taking his hands right inside here. Staying inside's the key and using the whole field.
Well, just like how you did it, right?
Well, no. Matter of fact, I told you, I never had a hitting coach that said stay inside the ball. Now, that would have been a lot easier for me to understand that. But watching Paulo almost every day this season, here's his home run. Watch his hands. Now, he has the space there. See, I talked about space. You have to create some space away from your body. And he's able to get extended by doing that. Look at both arms extended. Beautiful balance. You see there, he was waiting for the ball to get a little bit deeper and same swing, but he just waits a little longer. Now we're going to show you his hits by direction. That's impressive. He's squaring up that ball, and that's the largest hole on the diamond, right by the pitcher.
Rodon with his slider gets Paulo this time around, and that's Rodon's 3rd strikeout. I got to sit in on a conversation between you and Ned before one of the games, and Ned will tell you that he was a dead pull hitter. He tried everything you could try when he played, hit the ball to the opposite field, and just couldn't do it. He tried to guide the ball to the opposite field. He tried to intentionally be late on the ball, could not hit the ball to the opposite field. And it was fascinating to listen to the two of you talk about what you just described. I wish I had a hitting coach that would have said stay inside of the ball. That would have made more sense.
Yeah, and so as the game evolves, people get smarter and smarter. Hitters do, pitchers do. The game continues to get better and it improves. Now, Paul Molitor said the same thing. It's a Hall of Famer who was in our era. And he said the new terms in this new generation are stay inside the ball and get your foot down. We never heard that before because hitters There was a few who loaded up their hips with that flamingo-style leg kick and balanced on that one leg, but not many did back then. But in order to be successful in that position, your foot has to come down before you make contact. So that's what they mean by getting your foot down. So the game continues to evolve.
1-2 from Rodon to Alex Gordon. Rodon got a strikeout against Alex in the second inning. Paul Splittorff used to say that the basics of pitching haven't changed. What's changed is the way those basics are taught, the words that are used. Some pitching coaches just are able to penetrate a pitcher's psyche with the right words, and they're able to figure out how to communicate with the different pitchers based on their personality using different terminology. A little bit inside. Billy Butler, when he was first called up by the Royals, had the ability right away to drive the ball to the opposite field, and he shared with us that his father taught him to lead with the knob of the bat. Get the knob of the bat in between the baseball and your body. Here's a base hit to left field for Alex. And at a young age, that made sense to Billy. And when he got here to the big leagues, he already knew how to drive the ball to the opposite field.
Yep, that helps a lot when you're younger and you're taught that. That's for sure. But speaking of that, Alex Gordon did the exact thing what we're talking about. You could tell with some of the foul balls he was looking to go to the opposite field, and there it was. He kept his hands inside the ball on an inside pitch. Okay, see how he took the knob of the bat, the bottom part of it, right to the ball, and a little one-hand takeoff follow through. Stayed on it, fought it out there.
Escobar looking for a first pitch fastball, and Rodon goes off speed, and why not? Escobar jumped on a first pitch in the second inning and hit his 6th home run, a new career high for him. And now he's 2 RBIs away from tying that career high.
Now, if you watch Alex Gordon, we'll show you what he does when he takes his lead. Watch his lead foot. See that foot? That foot is pointing in that direction. And you know what he does that for? His hip's already open. So it eliminates any kind of movement. He can just go right away with your foot turned out. Some guys are not comfortable doing that. But see how that foot is pointed towards the shortstop and third base? He's able to open up his hip already by doing that.
And you go back to the bag with your shoulders, not your hips. So your hips can be pointed to second base and you can still get back. But when those shoulders turn to second base, you're done.
You better be able to use the shoulders to get back, just like you said, to turn them. It's all about being able to control your body. That comes with time.
Three and one on Escobar. Look at that.
Now that right there is not true, man. But you know what, though? I do love you. Thank you. Always kind. I try to be, but it's not possible. I am human. Ooh. But check out where right fielder Avisail Garcia is playing, Esky. I mean, come on. Look where he is. He's not very far. He's just inviting Esky to drive it over his head.
That's father-son game depth.
That's right. So when you're hitting, you rarely look where the outfielders are. You always look where the infielders are, but you rarely take a look beyond. And if he did, he'd look for an outside pitch and drive it out there. If he could get himself another triple. But he's in to take away from any doinkers that Esky could drop out there in front of him.
Alex takes off, and it's hit to right center field. And Eaton was there to make the play. Two down.
Royals fans, excuse me, Rhino, it's time to celebrate the best fans in baseball. Join us for Fan Appreciation Day presented by Sprint on Saturday, October 1st. as the boys in blue host the Cleveland Indians. The day will feature games, giveaways, and great prizes. Plus, the first 10,000 fans will receive an exclusive pair of Royals mittens courtesy of Sprint. Purchase tickets now at Royals.com or by calling 1-800-6-ROYALS. That is a day that the players want to love on you, the fans. It's Fan Appreciation Day, not for the fans to come and appreciate the Royals. You've been doing that all year. This is the one day where players really love that they can come out. They'll empty their lockers. They'll bring batting gloves. They'll throw them into the stands. This is a day of celebration, folks. Don't want to miss that.
Alex runs again. A strike. And Alex steals second base. Second stolen base for the Royals today, and Omar Narvaez has yet to throw out a runner this year.
Now, we talked about Alex. Watch him. Okay, his foot's already open. The hip's open. All he's got to do is just run, turn and run. Doesn't have to drop his back step or adjust any takeoff. And really, to steal a base, it's the takeoff that matters. He's going to take a little peek back just to make sure that Colon doesn't do anything with the bat. Blows a bubble while he steals. He's got skills.
Blocked by Narvaez. 2-1 on Colon. Narvaez is 0 for 17 this year and trying to throw out runners. Two and 2 on Colon. He doubled up the left field line his first time up.
Now, you mentioned Narvaez not throwing any runners out. Now, a lot of that's on the pitcher for sure. But if you're a catcher now, you go into the offseason and you're going to work on that. You may not have the best arm or the best feet, best footwork or the best transfer from pop time from the time it catches you. You catch it to your glove hand or your throwing hand. But you still can work on it. You can work on those things. You never get to a point where you say, I can't. Can't is a bad word for an athlete or anybody who's trying to succeed. And when you use that word, it blocks everything off. You can, but you have to work at it. Paulo Orlando, another good example. Every winter for the past 5 years, when his season's over, he goes and plays winter ball. He never gets a break. He works hard. So that's why we're seeing the finished product out here. It takes work. That guy is who he is on the field because of his work ethic.
Full count on Colon. Colon is on with 2 down. That's Rodon's first walk. 2 on with 2 out for Butera. And here comes White Sox pitching coach Don Cooper. Vote for the Royals Player of the Month at one of the 7 Rally House locations in the KC metro area. All participants will be entered to win a majestic prize pack. Butera grounded out sharply to second baseman Carlos Sanchez. First time up. Rodon really struggling with, it would appear, the heat and perspiration. Now, if this was a game in late June or July or into August, this temperature wouldn't be a shock at all. But you go a couple of weeks playing in the 70s or the 80s and your body adjusts to that temperature, and a day like today is a shock.
Yeah, I'll say.
Changeup is outside. Ball 1-2 Butera.
Avisail Garcia, the right fielder, he's not playing just Escobar that way. He's playing all of these hitters in the bottom third, shallow and right. So it'd be tough to score on a clean base hit to him. And the White Sox, they've been really good this year. They rank second in Major League Baseball with 42 outfield assists. Pretty impressive. Eden leads the bunch, leads the pack with 18. Cabrera has 12. Garcia in right field has a couple. But they have really done a great job of throwing runners out.
Butera was taking a shot toward right field. 2 balls, 1 strike. And on this unseasonably warm day, the Royals are getting Rodon closer to 80 pitches in 4 innings. 3-1. So it's hot, it's sunny. The White Sox have decided to wear their black jerseys on a day like today, and Rodon is averaging almost 20 pitches per inning. Full count. And now the added offensive advantage for the Royals with the shallow outfield. Gordon and Colon will be running. And Butera swings over a slider, slams his bat into the dirt. 4 strikeouts for Rodon. At the end of 4, we have a 2-2 tie. On September the 19th, and the wind is blowing out, and we've had 3 home runs already today. In the Royals' second, Paulo Orlando homered off of Carlos Rodon. That tied the game at 1. 2 batters later, Alcides Escobar made his career high 6 of the year. That put the Royals in front 2-1, and then in the 4th inning, Jose Abreu homered against Yordano Ventura over all 3 walls in center field, and that tied the game at 2. Both teams 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors. Omar Narvaez grounded out to second his first time up and takes strike 1. Carlos Sanchez is on deck, followed by Adam Eaton. To right field, it will carry. Paulo back, still back. He caught it. What an amazing catch by Paulo Orlando. That is a tip of the cap and the glove.
Wow, talk about the degree of difficulty on the ball that Narvaez hit. He hits it off the end of the bat, but the outfielder doesn't know that. He actually got more of it. He barreled it. Okay, so Paulo, it turned him around, but then he's able to pick it up, the breeze blowing out, and then that late little leap there. That's tremendous athleticism there, to be able to get that late leap off of his left leg. Usually it's your right leg you leap off of, but do whatever it takes to make the play. Oh man, and then his right hand got caught there in the fence there, but he's okay. Look at the focus and keeping your eye on that ball. I can't tell you how difficult that is. Great play.
Great start to the top of the 5th inning. Let's go to Joel.
Well, we just happened to want to talk about Paulo Orlando, and was speaking this morning with outfield coach Rusty Kuntz. And remember, about 3 or 4 years ago, he said, I want every minor league outfielder we have to watch video of Alex Gordon and the way he goes about batting practice. He calls it power shagging. Guys go out there and catch, but Alex goes out there and catches the first group of batting practice like it's game situations. And we want the minor leaguers to watch this, because if you're going to be a good outfielder for the Kansas City Royals, this is what you need to do. Well, Rusty was telling me this morning that that is exactly what Paulo Orlando did. And now it is Paulo every day that is doing the same things that Alex did. And that has enabled him to be a great right fielder, center fielder, and left fielder. He is the first that has actually made that happen and taken it to the big leagues. Another one that's starting to follow suit, who's new to the organization and already making strides, is Billy Burns. And this is, again, something that they will continue to show all of those minor leaguers, that if you can work batting practice like it's a game situation, you too could one day be like Alex Gordon. Paulo Orlando is on his way.
Joel, it's so important that you do that. Not just that the coach hits you balls, you have to play them off the bat. And that's the real read you're going to get during the game. And it's great to see these guys pay attention to that detail. That detail has helped them win a world championship. That's the difference between a world champion and a guy who's not. Attention to detail.
Strike 3 called, and Sanchez is the 3rd strikeout victim of Yordano Ventura. 2 outs. Here's our sprint trivia question for today. Who has won the most games as a Royal by a Dominican-born pitcher? Where Yordano Ventura hails. Inside to Adam Eaton.
I'm going to have to rely on your knowledge, buddy.
Two 2-0 on Eaton. There's a name that pops into my head,
right?
But I'll just throw it out there. Hipólito Pichardo.
Hippolito. I never.
That's what I called him until I came to the Royals, and I learned it was Hipólito.
Okay.
And not Pichardo.
Right.
Pichardo.
You know what? I have no clue, and I'm going with you. I'm just backing my partner up.
Three 3-0 on Eaton. He struck out on 3 pitches to begin the game, and then grounded back to Ventura in the 3rd. Swinging on a 3-0 pitch, and that's going to get down into the corner. And for Adam Eaton, that is just his 3rd hit of this series, his first extra base hit. He had a monster series last weekend in Chicago, and he's been quiet this series. He hasn't scored a run. He hasn't driven in a run.
Yeah, I liked how he stepped to the ball. He stepped right to it, didn't step in the bucket. He knew a fastball was coming, 3-0 most likely. And he raked it.
One hop to Cologne, and that's the inning. Tim Anderson is 0 for 2 today. Halfway done, the Royals and White Sox are tied at 2. Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. Heat index in the 90s today. Just like Sao Paulo, Brazil. Paulo made one of the best catches in the outfield for the Royals this year, getting Omar Narvaez for the first out of the top of the 5th inning.
Tried to read it. It didn't sound like he barreled it, but he did. And you know, outfielders have to go on the sound, even though sometimes in ballparks with the energy up, it's hard to pick up that. But the sound helps you determine whether it was well struck or not.
One and one on Billy Burns. He was hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning and stole a base. And he is fouled out to first. Top of the order coming up. Got the call down in the strike zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That makes Billy 3 for 6 in his career off of Rodon.
Two and two. You know, we were talking about Paulo Orlando's success, swinging early in the count. You know, that's just a trademark of the Royals. And Billy Burns last year, who was in the top 5 for American League Rookie of the Year. His batting average, swinging at the first pitch last year, was .479. And a lot of times you don't expect that from a leadoff guy. You assume he's just going to take a strike. You know, sometimes you figure you got a free strike, just lay one in there. But he's ready to rip, and he took full advantage of that last year. And in talking to some of the A's related folks when the Royals acquired Billy Burns, is that the A's, you know, that Moneyball theory of taking pitches, working deep counts, you know, they wanted him to do more of that this year, and it backfired.
Yep.
And he ended up in the minor leagues as a result. Good luck. And he throws it away.
Nobody there at second base. That's what he wants to do. That's a prototypical type hit that Billy Burns continues to do, and staying on top of the ball. Okay, now he's going to get a hit out of this, and it'll be a hit in an air. But look at chop, knock, deluxe. Tough angle. Competitors want to throw him out. They believe they can, but just too much to think about. Your footwork, your feet got to be lined up to your target, your arm angle, and most of the time that happens.
Now Whit Merrifield. Kia puts us in the driver's seat. Whit is 0 for 2 so far today, but since being recalled from Omaha, he's hitting .333. And he's the right guy at the plate with a runner at second base and nobody out. Showing bunt. Of course, he has the ability to also bunt for a base hit.
Now you'd like to see him take a shot at right, but with Garcia in right, very shallow out there. I've showed you that. He's playing all the hitters that way. Look at the hole here. You can still pull him over and pull it and get him over and in. Same thing. Ideally, you like to try to hit the ball to the right side with nobody out. But you don't have to. There was some times when I was the on deck hitter and to start an inning and the leadoff hitter was up, I'd turn to my manager and I'd say, hey, look, he's been throwing me inside. I'm going to pull it. I'm not going to try to hit it to the right field. Is that okay with you? And he'd go, Hud, just do the job. Get him in. So I would look for a pitch inside in a situation like this. It's okay to. Because that pitcher, he knows that you're trying to hit the ball over there, so they're going to pitch you inside. And Merrifield uses the whole field, but he can pull the ball with the best of them. Great hat. I could use one of those.
Taking a shot at right field. 2 balls, 1 strike. And now Rodon is approaching 90 pitches. Two and two.
Royals are fortunate that they caught Jose Quintana off guard yesterday. He was not on this game, and which is unusual. One of the first outings we've seen from him that he didn't look confident and was not. Now Rodon, he's not the same guy as he was the last start against the Royals in Chicago. He was a beast. He was executing his pitches. He only gave up 2 runs. He was really tough on him.
Oh, base hit right field. Textbook. Absolutely textbook. And Ned Yost shared with us before the game all the things he likes about Whit Merrifield.
He's a baseball player. He does, you know, and by that we mean that he doesn't really do anything really exceptional. But he does everything very solid. He's a solid defender. He's a solid, smart base runner. He's a solid offensive performer that can play fundamental baseball, can bunt, as we saw here in the last day or so. He can hit the ball the other way. He can drive the gaps. He's got occasional power, but just a smart little heady player.
That's not what Haas wanted.
Oh. And it drops. It got in the sun. Frazier never looked comfortable. And then Anderson came out of nowhere and tried to make the play and couldn't quite reach it.
And the drop is what Hosmer wanted. But he didn't want that because he wants to knock that run in there. Pick him up. Now, this is tough. You got 2 players converging. Shortstop has priority over the third baseman. And he ended up winning out, but too much obstacles, too much sun.
And it looked like Frazier was calling for it. But the closer Frazier got to the crowd, it was probably more difficult for Anderson to hear that. But that was an easier play for Frazier than it was for Anderson.
but he yielded. Now getting back to Ned's comments on Merrifield, I agree with him. He's a ball player. He's a baseball player. And there he goes. He's taking off. They're going to try to throw him out. It's not going to happen. Merrifield rips off his 7th. Good jump. Now it takes him out of double play order, and Haas should be able to, or hoping to do the job here. He said he doesn't do one thing spectacular, but you don't have to in this game. How many times have you heard me say if you do one good thing during the course of a big league baseball game, you had a good game? That's how hard it is to play. But he does several of those things good. Runs. You're not going to label a baseball player on a guy who can't run. He does all the things. Look at that. Beautiful hit.
Burns scores. Merrifield, he had to make sure that ball was going to get through, so he had to hold, but Eric Hosmer adds to his career high. That's his 96th run driven in, and the Royals lead again. Still nobody out.
Royals keeping the line moving here in this inning, like they like to do. Haas picked on a slider. It stayed up. And Haas was able to keep his shoulder in. That shoulder stays tucked like that. It's a beautiful thing that his head stays down on the ball and drives it right through the middle.
And that gets through Narvaez, and still no chance for a ground ball and a double play. Narvaez, I don't know if he realized right away that ball got through him, but Eric Hosmer did.
It was kind of a changeup roll once it got past him. Watch it roll. Okay, changeup. See it? Just barely rolling. You couldn't see it. Merrifield says, Camo's hit. I'm not going to chance coming home on that. They pay this guy to knock me in.
2 balls, no strikes. Morales is flied to right, flied to center, and the fly ball to center field. He just missed hitting a home run. He hit it very high, and with the heat and the humidity and the wind, it blew that ball all the way to the warning track. High, deep, left center field.
Wow.
Way back. Splash.
He just missed one his last at bat to center field, but he didn't miss that one. And that ball went so high, I thought it was going to be caught. Didn't think it had the distance. But as I looked down and saw Melky Cabrera, the left fielder, and Adam Eaton, the center fielder, not even moving, just watching it sail, they obviously knew it was a no-doubter. 4-seam fastball, straight as a string. Morales gets under it. Looks like it almost pops straight up. Watch where this ball goes, the trajectory. It goes straight up, but way out of here. Great carry, nice breeze up top.
And before the cops could arrive, that fella got himself a souvenir.
Leading the White Sox, and that gentleman seems to still be here, so that is good. Didn't get all the way into the fountains. Yesterday, Kendrys Morales needed some help getting the ball out of the fountains because career hit number 1,000 bounced into the fountains, and after the game, when I was interviewing him, they didn't have the ball yet because it had sunk to the bottom. Well, about 10:45 this morning, that ball was brought right to Kendrys in the clubhouse. He couldn't have been happier. I'm not sure what's going to happen with this guy. We know what happens with prosecution. But in talking to the Royals folks, they actually, Ryan and Hud, had a guy out there yesterday after the game, waist high in duck waders with a pool skimmer. They found the ball. It was the only one within about 20 feet of where Kendrys has landed. They also found Gordon's with a couple of batting practice balls. And the key now, I took that baseball this morning. It is heavy. It is waterlogged. It needs to sit in the sun for a couple of days. Here's what it looks like now. And trust me, when you hold that, the Hud, if you were to grab that, it's much heavier than a normal baseball. So as they decorate that and eventually Kendrys puts it on his mantle, they're going to need to let that thing dry out a little bit. Kendrys, by the way, all smiles when he saw that baseball this morning.
Wow. Hey, well, now, if there was some other balls in there, Joel, how'd they know that that was the one?
Well, there's the sign.
Well, they knew it because it was the only one within the 20 feet of where it landed.
Thank you.
So they got lucky on that one. Now, the Gordon one was mixed in with some batting practice balls, but this was the only one in that area with, you know, that commissioner's logo.
Thank you.
They're talking it over, and with Kansas City police and ushers. Now, the sign says going into the fountains.
See his buddy there? Yeah.
So he might want to use his challenge because he didn't enter the fountains, but the Royals don't want people reaching over the railing because there's a good chance you might end up in the fountains if you're reaching over the railing, depending on your selection of beverages that day.
Right, they're going to let him stay. Good talk, good negotiation skills.
One ball, one strike. This is Juan Minaya. On for just the 6th time this year. He's pitched 5 2/3 scoreless innings. That's hit well to the opposite field. Cabrera having trouble with the sun and makes the catch. The Royals had some trouble with Chris Sale in game 1 of the series. There's no shame in that, but the Royals knew they were going to be facing 3 tough lefties. Now, they did score 4 runs against Sale. Sale a complete game and a victory. But now in the last 2 games, the Royals have scored 6 runs in 4 innings against Jose Quintana and 6 runs in 4+ innings against Carlos Rodon.
Yeah, you gotta be impressed with the way the Royals have been swinging the bat against those lefties. Coming in today, team average was up from it was yesterday. It was 274 as a team average. That's right there in the top 5 in the American League. Now, did they give him the ball back, or did they take it from him? Because I don't see him with the ball. It might have been the penalty. He can't keep the ball, but I don't know that. Could have been handed off to his daughter or whoever else. But that usher's saying, hey, you know, very fortunate.
Entering the fountains and reaching into the fountains is essentially the same thing. 2 balls and 1 strike on Escobar. First of all, they don't want people splashing around in the fountains, and number 2, what makes the fountains work and the waterfalls work, there's a lot of metal devices just below the water line, and if you fall in, you could be injured pretty badly. Not to mention the electricity in there that makes all those devices work.
I don't think any baseball's worth that.
No. And he looks like he understands he made a mistake. Full count on Escobar.
Esky. Haven't seen him like that. Uh-oh. Don't touch him. Well, Esky's getting his money's worth. Oh, there goes Ned too.
Well, Alcides Escobar has the longest streak of consecutive games, 159 today, and Ned is always quick to praise Escobar for his ability to be ready every day. And so I think Ned figures, hey, if my everyday guy gets thrown out, I'm going with him.
That's right. You have to do that if you're a skipper. And it didn't take long. You better believe it. We haven't seen Esky do that ever. I've never seen him get tossed like that. You know, in his previous at bat, he was barking a little bit, and you could see all those pitches to him were off the grid and away. And Esky's done such a great job of using plate discipline, not swinging at those. And you know, you gotta respect Toby Basner. I mean, he listened to Escobar for a long time. He let Esky speak his mind, and then after a while, you know, that's non-negotiable. You can't argue balls and strikes like that. You will be tossed.
So Mondesi, without warning, has to grab a bat and dig in with the count 3 balls 2 strikes. Garcia waits for it in right field, and that's the inning. So Minaya retires all 3 he faced. Prior to that, Royals got an RBI single from Eric Hosmer and a 3-run home run from Kendrys Morales.
Too hot right now to have a cold game. Pitches on the mound, throwing 90 miles an hour. I see the clouds moving, looks like scary showers. Stay focused, I'm trying to knock it out the ball. The field lights came on, cause it's getting dark. I feel my heartbeat, adrenaline pumping. The crowd jumping out the seats, cause they see me coming. Approach a home plate, weapon in my hand.
6-2 Royals, and the Royals hit 3 home runs against Carlos Rodon. Rodon had not allowed a home run to the Royals in his first 25 innings this year, and then gave up 2 in the 2nd and 1 in the 5th. Mondesi stays in at shortstop after coming in for Escobar in the bottom of the 5th inning. Escobar ejected from a game for the 3rd time in his career. Grounded right to Merrifield, and that'll take care of Melky Cabrera. He is 0 for 3.
Folks, cheer on longtime Royal Alex Gordon on Thursdays in his fan section, Gordo Nation. For only $35, you can get a seat in left field, limited edition Charlie Husselbrand t-shirt, and Alex Gordon big head. Join your fellow fans for this fun experience supporting Gordo. There's only one left after today. So be sure to get the tickets today at Royals.com/theme tickets. You can have a Gordo big head. Now, the last thing that Alex has is a big head himself, okay? Just so you know that. We'll clarify that. One of the most humble baseball players you'll ever meet.
Just under Merrifield's glove. And Abreu is on with one out. That's a base hit. Abreu's second hit of the day.
Didn't keep his glove down low enough. Came up a little bit too soon on a short hopper. That's tough. Okay, that ball there is one of the toughest you can feel because you're going to your backhand side and it hits 5 feet in front of you. That's no man's land. So you just basically have to take a guess of where the ball's going to be.
One strike on Justin Morneau. So Ventura has the luxury of a big lead. Morneau doubled and scored in the second inning, giving the White Sox a 1-0 lead. And now he drops one out into shallow right center field. So Morneau has 2 hits, and the White Sox have 2 on with 1 out. Todd Frazier coming up. So that's a big hitter right here. As the power numbers drop significantly after Frazier. Frazier has 37 this year. Drove in a run with a single back in the second inning. The Royals have a 4-run lead, but a poorly located pitch right here, and the White Sox could turn it into a 1-run game. Line to center field, and Burns plays it on a bounce. Abreu is held, and the White Sox have the bases loaded with 1 out. So Dave Island's going to go out, have a little chat with Ventura before Garcia comes up. Here's our University of Kansas hospital injury report. The New York Mets are tied with the Giants for the top wild card spot. They have those 2 teams have a 1-game lead over St. Louis. And they are without DeGrom, Harvey, and Matz. That's 3/5 of their young rotation. Neil Walker's done for the year with back surgery. David Wright is out with neck surgery.
And they continue to get it done with guys that have come up, filled in. 80 wins. New York Mets have. Oh man, this is perfect.
To the plate. 2 down. Go back to third, and Morneau was on the bag. Garcia, he's big, but he's fast. Hud, I think Colon made the right choice. I think there was only 1 out to get on that play.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought it was going to get to Colon a little bit quicker, but that was a perfect scenario for him. Although maybe perfect's not the word. Perfect would have been a double play ball there. But it was played right into him for an easy out.
If he runs to third and throws to first, it's going to be close.
Yep, Garcia,
at first base.
No, he didn't have time to do that.
Bat breaks in half, and Colon makes a play. So Ventura holds it together, The White Sox had the bases loaded with 1 out and come up empty in the 6th.
Ventura takes instruction well. Way to go, Dave. Talked him into 2 pitch outs.
And her only wish is to get a kiss from Eric Hosmer. That's the only female in Kansas City whose only wish is to get a kiss from Eric Hosmer. Well, not really.
Happy birthday. You are beautiful. Thanks for coming to the K on a special occasion. I mean to tell you, talk about rounding up them numbers. These players want to. That 100 is pretty special.
Another pitching change for the White Sox. Blake Smith will get the bottom of the 6th inning.
Blake Smith, this is the former outfielder, right? This is a former outfielder. Yeah. He played his first 4 years in pro ball as an outfielder. Impressive. His fastball, curveball. Low to mid-90s, a little bit of sinking action to the pitch.
So Christian Colon leads off our Sonic Slam inning. Then Drew Butera and Billy Burns. 2 balls, no strikes. Mary Weist Cole from Gladstone is our contestant. If the Royals hit a home run out of the park in this inning, Mary wins $100. A grand slam out of the park in this inning is worth $25 grand from Sonic and the Royals. And the pot is at $100 because Kendrys Morales hit a $700 home run in the Sonic Slam inning yesterday afternoon. Shallow right center. Sanchez is out. And Colon is 0 for 1 with his double and walk today. 1 for 2, that is, with a double and a walk today.
This Hispanic Heritage Month, MLB and the Royals are celebrating the many ways Latinos put an accent on baseball. Share how you put an accent on the game with the hashtag Ponle Acento. Acento. Ponle Acento. Does that sound Italian the way I said it? It was.
Yeah. Well, you know, there have been some Italians who have put their accent on the game as well. Yeah. Yeah, it's either Ponle Acento or Ponle Acento.
That's right.
You know? Or you know, Ponle Acento.
There you go.
There's always many ways to say it.
Okay, thank you.
Terra out in front. 1 ball, 1 strike. Get that into the craft and draft. One ball, 2 strikes. I'd mentioned Blake Smith was an outfielder for the first 4 years of his professional career. That was in the Dodgers organization. And usually when a player makes that switch, they weren't much of a hitter, but they had a pretty good arm. Don't want to give up on the dream. You know, they begged the organization, hey, I don't want to be done being a professional player. Can I try pitching?
Yes.
Well, he had a 20 home run season as a minor league outfielder.
He had some pop.
Still 1-2.
Interesting dilemma that would be. It'd be hard to let that go being a position player, especially with that kind of success. Well, a lot of position players don't have that option. They don't have that arm. Obviously Smith does.
2 down. Smith went from the Dodgers organization and then was acquired by the White Sox in a trade. The Padres took Smith in the Rule 5 and then returned him back to the White Sox. Ball 1 to Billy Burns. He scored one of the 6 runs today in the Royals' biggest inning, a 4-run 5th that began with Burns' infield single, and he forced Carlos Rodon to throw the ball away, and he went to second and scored on Eric Hosmer's RBI. 2 balls and no strikes, and then later in that inning, Kendrys Morales hit a 3-run home run. Three balls and no strikes. Three and one on Billy Burns. Expect to see quite a bit of him in the final 2 weeks of the regular season, along with Hunter Dozier. 2 players in particular that Ned Yost said he wants to get a long look at before the regular season is over. Sanchez slides. Not in time. Man, did he get down the line. Sanchez, HUD did nothing wrong. 0. I mean, he got to that ball and he got it to first base real quickly, considering that he was rolling around in the outfield.
Great play on a very speedy runner from the left side of the plate. Look at Burns' short, quick, choppy steps. He doesn't alter his step. Now this play by Sanchez is brilliant. Look at that quick transfer from glove to hand. He's up on a dime. Hit the ground, didn't stay out long. And that's what Burns does. Pressures defenses. Second hit of the game on infield hit.
Witt singled to right field, stole a base, and scored a run in the 5th inning. On an absolute textbook swing with a runner at second base and nobody out. He did not get a great pitch to hit to the right side, but he found a way to get it to the right side and through the right side. And you were talking earlier about Paulo Orlando and his ability to go inside out. And now Merrifield pulls it to left field, and that will be up against the fence. Burns to third. He'll be waved to the plate. And two-hit Witt strikes again. 7-2 Royals in the 6th inning.
Yeah. Tell you what, two-hit Witt. He's got it going on, that's for sure. He was recognized, and we saw the hit to opposite field in the perfect situation. This ball's down and in from Blake Smith. He's able to reach out, barrel it, top-hand it over Cabrera's head. Now, here's the one in the 5th inning. Look at that. Now, the head position here, pulled his hands in nice. The head position, you can see how nicely that head stayed down on the ball, and he's able to shoot the ball to right field. So 2 different styles of hitting. We tried to talk about that today in length. Staying inside the baseball, and at times you go ahead and drop the head.
So this started with 2 outs. Burns reached with the infield single. Merrifield doubles him home. Hosmer's 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. Off of the ribbon scoreboard on the third base side, and a nice catch down below by a fan in a gray Alex Gordon jersey.
Played the ricochet.
Line to center field. That's a hit. Eaton's throw is cut off. Hosmer's driven in 2. He has 97 RBIs. And the Royals have 2 more with 2 out in the 6th inning.
Blake Smith leaving the ball up. That ball had a little wrinkle on it. Nice big curve, but it hung. Haas, see how that little hesitation? He paused for just a couple of ticks. He got his foot down and kept his hands back. That's the whole key when you hit a breaking ball. It's hanging. Whitley hits the inside part of the base. Good focus. Score the run.
And now Morales takes one on the foot. That was a fastball.
Usually you talk about a back foot breaker. Well, that was a back foot heater, fastball. And he's had a lot of trouble with foul balls off of his toes, his feet. And the fans are giving him a nice ovation as he walks to first base. Now, having a hot series like this and taking some big swings and getting some big homers, sometimes the opponents don't like that. But when you hit a guy at his foot like that, it's not really considered intentional.
As they will say sometimes, hey, make him move his feet.
Right.
You know, make him a little uncomfortable in the batter's box. I mean, if you want to drill a guy, they'd probably try and get him on the hip.
Yep.
Fastball outside to Paulo Orlando. He has a home run today. Solo blast back in the 2nd inning. 1 of 3 Royals home runs today. Two 2-0.
2nd inning. Oh man. Paulo Orlando, see how he picked up his foot and set it down right before he swung? That's the whole idea of setting that foot down. And that was a high fly ball. Wind helped to carry just a tad, but that's all it needed.
Eaton has a play in center. And that's the inning with 2 outs and nobody on. The Royals Get 4 straight base runners. They add 2 more runs, and at the end of 6, the Royals lead by 6.
By Thoroughbred Ford. Get ready for a great deal on a new Ford, and it's time to go to Thoroughbred Ford. And by Bank of America. Life's better when we're connected.
Yordano Ventura's had a good day. He's allowed 2 runs, 8 hits. He's pitched well with a big lead. He has made 4 starts against the White Sox before today. His ERA isn't great. It's not terrible, 4.67, but he's gone at least 7 innings in 3 of those starts. That's 1 pitch and 1 run, and Carlos Sanchez hits it into the second tier of the fountains. He has hit only 2 home runs all year, both of them in this series. One just over the wall in the right field corner, and that one landed on top of a signage board and goes into the drink. And that makes it 8-3.
4-seam fastball right down the middle, and he barreled it with a good, easy, short, compact swing. Didn't try to do too much, and look how that ball jumped.
That was just the 73rd pitch for Ventura. So he's 3 outs away from pitching at least 7 innings in 4 of his 5 starts against the White Sox. 2 of those starts, to be perfectly honest, were not very good. Matt Strahm is warming up, but after the starts, both Ned Yost, Dave Eiland, and Dayton Moore, for that matter, really praised Yordano for being professional, and that things didn't go his way. He didn't pitch all that great, but in the end he gave the team 7 innings. He didn't get emotionally wrapped up in the poor pitches or any kind of bad fortune, and when the game was over he still went 7. Mondesi goes out from short and makes the play, 1 down. Well, today has been a good day. 1 down in the 7th inning. From the Dominican Republic, Yordano Ventura, and maybe someday he will be the answer of our sprint trivia question, but to this point, who has won the most games as a Royal by a Dominican born pitcher? And the only pitcher I can think of is Hipólito Pichardo.
Nice pronunciation.
Thank you.
And good guess.
Now, before I came to the Royals, he was Hipólito Pichardo.
Yeah, and that's how I knew him.
Paulo Orlando, long running play to take care of Tim Anderson, and there are 2 down. But when I got here, And it was the end of his tenure with the Royals, and he was a happy-go-lucky, fun-loving guy, and Ventura is catching him on the list. Ippolito Pichardo.
Pronunciation is huge. Never been good at it. Never was. And, you know, 16 years in this business, working with professionals like you and Fizz, I learned, got to get the names right. So before games, sit down with you, Fizz, say, hey, look, how you going with this guy's name? And I'll write it phonetically, but then that's no guarantee it's going to come out that way.
You know, in particular with the Latin-born players. Giordano thought he was being charged for a moment there. He didn't see Drew Butera coming up, and he looked up, and all of a sudden a guy with a mask was right in his face.
I was wondering what the crowd was reacting to. They were laughing. He's a little bit jumpy. It's a good laugh.
Just to finish the thought, especially with the Latin-born players, you know, a lot of them don't speak a lot of English when they get here, and you know, we want to pronounce their names correctly,
right?
And so we'll ask them, hey, is it Hippolito or is it Hippolito? And most of the times they'll say, you know, whatever. That's fine. You know, they're happy to be here. They're happy to have their name on TV, and they've been here for a year or two, and then they say, you know, actually the way my name is pronounced, and so it's good. I'm always happy when they tell us the correct pronunciation. You had the same thing happen with Kendrys Morales in his first year with the Angels. 2-2 on Melky Cabrera. There was a missing S, right? Wasn't he Kendry Morales?
Mm-hmm.
Just made contact with it. And Giordano Ventura, with only 83 pitches, by the way, is one strike away from giving the Royals 7 more innings today.
Giordano just looked at the scoreboard for the count. So it says 3-2. Is it? What is it? It's 2-2, right? Board says 3-2. So that's why you don't look at the scoreboard. Players, if you're a player. Oh man, I caught Drew a little foul tip. That hurt. I got used to not looking at the scoreboard early in my minor league days. You can't trust it. Okay. Look up there, it's the wrong count, then now you miss it. It's a wrong out, you miss it, you're in trouble. So you got to ask the umpires. Now that ball caught him on the knee. Always ask that umpire. There's 4 of them out there. I'll tell you the outs. A lot of the base umpires, most of them, they don't have a clicker, a little count, a 3-2 counter they have. Most umpires all have them behind the plate. See it? There he's looking at it right there, just to make sure he gets it right.
Hosmer to Ventura, and Giordano Ventura. 7 innings, 3 runs. Very little has frightened him today outside of his own catcher.
Whoa, hey.
to take a 2-1 advantage, and now they lead 8-3 coming up in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's the only day game. Panera takes us around the league, and Baltimore will try to slow down the Red Sox. Red Sox just got done sweeping the Yankees. They've won 4 in a row. Baltimore is 3 games back of Boston, so they have them at home. The Oakland A's have scored 65 runs in their last 7 games after sweeping the Royals. They went to Texas and took 2 out of 3 from the Rangers. And then Toronto will be at Seattle. Toronto and Baltimore, if the season ended today, they would be the 2 wild card teams. Tommy Kahnle throws low. Detroit and Seattle are 2 games back in the wild card. The Royals will see Cleveland and Detroit in the upcoming and final road trip of the year.
Yeah, you know, Oakland's on a nice roll. And they have something to play for. It's them and the Angels to see who's last place in the West. Just a game separates them.
Tommy Kahnle begins his first inning today. Alex is 1 for 3. Rounds it out to Abreu. Kahnle to the bag. 1 out.
Folks, join the Royals to honor the legacy of Ewing Marion Kauffman and celebrate the 100th anniversary of his birth when the Royals host the Minnesota Twins on September 27th. First 10,000 fans through the gates will receive an exclusive Ewing Kauffman t-shirt. To get tickets, visit Royals.com/T-shirt Tuesday. Great statue there, and it was nice to have Denny in the booth so Denny could give us some tidbits and some of his best memories of Mr. Kauffman. Was very flattering. Mr. and Mrs. and the entire family.
Always nice to see Julia Irene. She always stops by the booth when she's here at the ballpark.
I'll never forget her in 14. I was up there, you know, sitting in the radio booth because we don't have any work in postseason and outside of postseason wrap-up, and I was just in there, and she's sitting, not watching the game, next to Denny, sitting on the ground, and she was just so nervous. She says the only place in the ballpark that she felt comfortable was sitting next to Denny and hearing his voice. That's how important Denny Matthews is. And I was impressed by that. She was a nervous wreck in 14. Now she's got her ring for 15, and really what a great accomplishment the last 2 seasons the Royals have had. Unbelievable.
Mondesi's down on strikes. 2 down in the bottom of the 7th.
Kahnle's got a good fastball, low to mid-90s slider changeup.
Chesler Cuthbert bats for the first time. He took over at third base for Cologne in the top of the 7th. And he pops it up into the bright sunlight. And Eaton is there for the catch. Royals are down in order. We go to the 8th. Yordano Ventura towels himself off, puts his cap on, and will try and give the Royals 8 today. 5-run lead. As he warms up, we have time for a Northtown Mazda game break. Royals from here go to Cleveland. 3 night games beginning tomorrow night. The Indians have been tough on the Royals this year. Cleveland has a 7-game lead in the Central. And the Royals will be facing an Indians team without Carlos Carrasco and without Danny Salazar. The Royals will see Josh Tomlin, Corey Kluber, and Mike Clevenger. Mike Napoli winning seems to follow him with whatever team he signs with, and he's having a big year for the Indians. And then the Royals will go play the Tigers, who are in 2nd place and chasing the Indians. So the Royals have a chance to really impact the Central Division on this upcoming road trip. Paulo Orlando runs down a line drive from Jose Abreu. And that's the first out of the 8th inning.
Off the bat, Abreu saying, yeah, got me another hit. And then he looked up and forgot who was playing right.
In fact, the Royals, 9 of their final 12 games will be against the top 2 teams in the division. Justin Morneau has 2 hits today and a run scored. This is the 8th time this year that Ventura has gone at least 7. And his 3rd time against the White Sox. His only 8-inning game this year was at the Rangers at the end of July. And it was a complete game because there was no bottom of the 9th inning. Gave up 3 runs, 4 hits in 8 innings at Texas. The Royals lost that game 3-2. And he still hasn't gotten to 100 pitches yet.
Great job today. Finding that strike zone, pressuring hitters, and putting it in play right at people. Tough hop.
2 down. That was the only complete game, and again, it was an 8-inning complete game in Ventura's career. Minor league or major leagues. Todd Frazier with 2 down. Frazier drove in the White Sox first run in the 2nd inning. Chicago led 1-0 at the end of an inning and a half. The Royals got 2 in the 2nd. The White Sox tied it in the 4th. So we were 2-2 going into the bottom of the 5th inning, and the Royals scored 4 in that inning, 2 in the 6th to pull away, and then the White Sox got a run in the 7th. Ooh, 98 with teeth
on his 95th pitch. God, Frazier had to step out and smile at that one. Look at the hair on that one. Woohoo! Teeth, hair, run. There's a lot of terms hitters use.
Shook his head. Same pitch, except 99 miles an hour. And Frazier, I think he's staring out at Ventura. I think he wants to get his attention and say, can you throw me something that I've got a chance on?
Too identical. Kansas City area Chevy dealers. Visit us for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. By Panera Bread, food as it should be, with 24 Kansas City metro locations. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, right stuff, low price, every day.
A hot day. And it's going to stay that way in Kansas City through Thursday, with temperatures at or near 90 degrees. Anthony Renato will pitch the bottom of the 8th inning. He's the White Sox 5th pitcher. The Royals scored 6 of their 8 runs against Carlos Rodon, who had pitched very well against the Royals in his previous starts. Royals hit 3 home runs against Rodon in his 4+ innings. And now Renato, who has pitched as both a starter and a reliever.
Another guy out of the White Sox bullpen, throws hard, 6'7", 235, big guy. 90 to 97, slider change and a curve.
Ventura just got a piece of it. Renato's had some difficulty finding the strike zone with 19 walks in 29 innings. That time he finds the outside corner. One out. Billy Burns comes up. He's had a full day today.
Sure has. He's going to show a little bit of his skills for you right here. Okay, look at this is what you like to do when you're a leadoff hitter, and plus when you're a guy with speed. Pressure the defense, a little chop knock. And then he says, you know what? I'm not done. I'll do a little steal. And then again, he stays on top of the ball, coming out of that box from the left side, makes it a lot quicker. And then he's showing his way, scoring from first base. And a beautiful stroke. Have a day. Boy, was that nice. Amazing what you can do when you get reps, when you get a chance to play. And he's been getting that now, and he's starting to feel more comfortable up there. Timing's everything. Especially facing that kind of pitching and that fastball. He redirected that ball, and that ball, see how short he was with his swing? Nice and easy. He's just trying to do that. Just connect with it. And an easy swing like that, I bet that generated somewhere near 100 miles an hour exit speed. Just with an easy swing.
Breaking ball for a strike. 2 hits for Whit Merrifield, 2 runs scored, a stolen base, and an RBI. Impressive, but foul. In and out of the far corner of the left field upper deck.
He says, I'm not letting you in there. I'm going to get you out of there. That ball was way in.
Three-pitch strikeout, and the second strikeout of the inning for Renato.
Let me show you that nice easy swing by Billy Burns again. Let's check it out. See, try less, swing easy. And look what happened. The ball just jumps. Look at how he changes directions in the spin of that baseball with that super slow motion camera. Now that ball exited at 96 miles an hour. 95.
Eric Hosmer gets closer and closer to 100 RBIs. He has driven in 5 in the last 2 games. 6 in the last 3 games. 2 balls, no strikes. This is the 19th game for Hosmer against the White Sox this year. And he has 23 runs driven in those 19 games.
Haven't been able to contain him.
That is a fair ball, and that is the inning. Yordano Ventura. Is he going to get a chance to go 9 today? Sure looks like it.
Okay, yo, continue, buddy. Eight to 3, 12 hits on the big night. Watch the Drive to the Pennant with MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live at home, in the office, or on the go. MLB.TV Premium includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch-by-pitch tracking, and more. Blackouts and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.com/TV for more details.
Yordano Ventura with 96 pitches. Reinforcements are ready in the bullpen. A strike to Avisail Garcia. Nobody warming up at the moment, but we're warming up in between innings. Ventura, for just the 4th time in his career, has pitched at least 8 innings. If the Royals can get an out here, that will tie Ventura's career high with 8 1/3 innings. And now he's 2 outs away from his first 9-inning complete game. He had an 8-inning complete game earlier this year, his only professional complete game.
He has been brilliant today, no question about it. Filling up the strike zone early, that's what you do. You fill it up, those hitters get hitterish, and he's only walked 1.
And a strike to Narvaez. And Hud, he has only, and I say in quotations, only struck out 4. So he's been taking advantage of his defense today. He's not, and that's kept his pitch count down too, that he hasn't had a lot of strikeouts.
That's the reason. This is he's not having to spin a lot of pitches.
Look at that, no more than 14 pitches in an inning.
Bottle this, start up Yordano, and check that out and those numbers later if you can, because you've been brilliant today, bud.
Into left field. 2 down. Crowd cheered when Ventura came out for the 9th inning. He announced attendance is 31,502. There aren't that many here today, but that goes back to the tickets sold for the original game that was rained out in May. So a career high 8 2/3 innings for Yordano Ventura. 1 out away from his first 9-inning complete game. And a changeup for a strike to Sanchez, who homered in his last at bat. And then 99. Hit that one out of here, buddy.
That's right. Plenty left in his tank. And the fans that took the time to come out today are thoroughly entertained. Not with just Yordano Ventura's brilliant performance, but the offense with 12 hits, 8 runs. Brilliant defense, which is on display every single Royals game.
Strike 3 with a breaking ball. And Yordano Ventura has his first major league 9-inning complete game. And the Royals, going back to last year, have won 7 consecutive series against the Chicago White Sox. They won every series against them this year. They finished 14-5 against Chicago. That's the most wins the Royals have ever had against the Chicago White Sox in one season.
Wow, congratulations, Yordano. That's a full day's work and another KCW. Brilliant job. Nice, strong finish on the homestand. Last pitch, I don't know how he grips it. Didn't even look like he had a grip on it, but that's a beauty right down the middle. Nice curveball. Oh, perfect way to finish it. Great job.
And on offense, the Royals hit 3 home runs against Carlos Rodon, who had not allowed 1 home run to the Royals all year. They scored 6 runs, 8 hits against Rodon after scoring 6 runs on 8 hits against Jose Quintana yesterday. So Royals finished the homestand on a positive note. After losing the first 5, they win the final 3. And a nice crowd out here today for a makeup game on a hot day in the middle of September. Have to see the Royals take 3 out of 4 from the White Sox and the pitching of Yordano Ventura. He's down on the field with Joel.
Nice and calm, Yordano Ventura. He just walked over and said, wow. And I think that's the reaction for everyone. Yordano, how important, how much did it mean?
Bueno, dile que no, vine con.
Never saw that one coming. All right. How important was it for you? How much did it mean to go 9 innings?
No, dile, tú sabes, me siento bien contento y agradecido con los muchachos que me dieron una buena defensa hoy. Vamos a seguir trabajando y vamos a terminar fuerte.
He feels good. He feels he felt strong. He's very appreciative of the defense that his club gave him, and he's going to continue to work hard to finish strong.
What was your feeling going out there for the 9th? I know you still had a lot of. There's the orange. Welcome to your first 2 Salvi splashes. How are you feeling there in the 9th? You still had a lot of pitches left.
Bueno, nada, tú sabes, dile que salí ahí positivo a sacar el primer bateador de out para que el inning se me haga más fácil y siempre atacar la zona detrás. Eso fue lo que hice y pude sacar el 9º inning.
He came out with a positive mindset. His goal was to just get the first guy out, and he was able to do that, and then he was able to finish it off.
You faced them 2 starts ago, and then they had a bunch of hits in that one. What kind of adjustments did you make?
Bueno, dile, simplemente me mantuve bajo control y haciendo los picheos y nada, Abreu vino, me dio un jonrón y nada, me mantuve bajo control y siguiendo tirar los picheos detrás y pues eso pude llegar al 9º inning.
Well, the adjustments that he made was he stayed under control. He stayed in the bottom of the zone. He gave up a home run to Abreu, but he made the adjustment, and again, he stayed strong and in the bottom of the strike zone.
Last thing, you've matured a lot. You've learned a lot. how much fun now are you having out there in all these situations? How much fun?
Bueno, dile que mientras nosotros estemos así jugando bien y nosotros estemos el equipo unido, como siempre hemos estado adentro en el clubhouse y afuera del clubhouse, nosotros, aunque no pasemos este año, pero siempre vamos a estar pendientes de los fanáticos y vamos a jugar fuerte para el próximo año venir a jugar duro.
As long as we're playing together as we have been, whether we get into the playoffs or not, that's our goal, to continue to work hard. And if we don't get in this year, we're going to work hard in the off season and try to get back in there next year.
Great job today. In English, before you go, you want to say anything to all these fans that came out on a Monday afternoon? They certainly liked watching you pitch. Go ahead.
Thank you, Kansas City Royals, and thank you for all the fans come here and enjoy the game, and thank you. We are everything for you.
Great job, Yordano Ventura. His first 9-inning complete game, and a couple of salvy splashes to go with it.
Good for him.
Yeah, it's great. He continues to improve. Every time he goes out there, he's learning something. But now his English is getting so much better. I don't even think he needs Pedro Gafal, the interpreter. Great job, tremendous performance, and congratulations, Joe. Hopefully we see many more of those.
Royals lost a tough one in game 1 of the series, with the White Sox coming from behind, and then the Royals win the next 3 to take the series. We'll be right back.